This chapter of the Quran has to deal with divorcing someone whom you've already had sex with, whether it's a girl or a woman. And it says in verse 4 of chapter 65, it says, "And those of your women as have passed the age of monthly courses, for the Iddah prescribed period, if you have doubt about their periods, is 3 months, and for those who have no courses, they are still immature or children. Their Iddah prescribed waiting period is 3 months likewise, except in cases of death, and for those who are pregnant, whether they are divorced or their husbands are dead, their Iddah is until they lay down their burden, and whoever fears Allah keeps his duty to him, he will make his matter easy for him." So instead of me commenting on this verse, we're going to let the Islamic scholars see what they have to say on this. We're going to start with Ibn Abbas. He says, "And for such of your women as despair of menstruation because of old age, if you doubt about their waiting period, their period of waiting shall be 3 months." Upon which another man asked, "O Messenger of Allah, what about the waiting period of those who do not have menstruation because they are too young, along with those who have it not because of young age? Their waiting period is 3 months." Another man asked, "What is the waiting period for those women who are pregnant, and for those with child, those who are pregnant, their waiting period shall be until they bring forth their burden, their child, and whoever keepeth his duty to Allah, and whoever fears Allah regarding what he commands him, he maketh his course easy for him, he makes his matter easy." And it is also said, this means he will help him to worship him well. We're going to look at the Jalalains. He says, "And for those of your women who have Ali or Allah in both instances no longer expect to menstruate, if you have any doubt about their waiting period, their prescribed waiting period shall be 3 months, and also for those who have not menstruated because of their young age, their period shall also be 3 months. Both cases apply to other than those whose spouses have died. For these latter, their period is prescribed in the verse, they shall wait by themselves for 4 months and 10 days, Quran 22:34. And those who are pregnant, their term, the conclusion of their prescribed waiting period, is divorced, or if their spouses be dead, shall be when they deliver, and whoever fears God, he will make matters ease for him in this world and in the hereafter." We're going to look at Ibn Kathir. He says, "The Iddah of those in menopause and those who do not have menses. Allah the Exalted clarifies the waiting period of the women in menopause, and that is the one whose menstruation has stopped due to her older age. Her Iddah is 3 months instead of the 3 monthly cycles for those who menstruate, which is based upon the ayah in Surah Al-Baqarah, see of course 202 and 28. The same for the young who have not reached the years of menstruation, or of course children there. Their Iddah is 3 months, like those in menopause. This is the meaning of his saying, and for those who have no courses." We're going to look at Maududi. He says, "They may not have menstruated as either because of young age or delayed menstrual discharge, as it happens in the case of some women, or because of no discharge at all throughout life, which, though rare, may also be the case. In any case, of the waiting period of such women is the same as the woman who has stopped menstruation, that is, 3 months from the time divorce was pronounced." Here one should bear in mind the fact that according to the explanations given in the Quran, the question of the waiting period arises in respect to the women whom marriage may have been consummated, for there is no waiting period in case divorce is pronounced before the consummation of marriage. Therefore, making mention of the waiting period for the girls who have not yet menstruated clearly proves that it is not only permissible to give away the girl in marriage at this age, but it is also permissible for the husband to consummate marriage with her, or to have sex with the child, is what they're saying. Now, obviously, no Muslim has the right to forbid a thing which the Quran has held as permissible. The girl who is divorced in the state when she has not yet menstruated and then she starts having the menses during the waiting period will reckon her waiting period from the same menstruation, and her waiting period will be reckoned just like the woman who menstruates regularly. Waldi said, and for such of your women as despair of menstruation, he cites 65:4, said Meli, when the verse, women who are divorced shall wait, keeping themselves apart. Al-Qadi al-Narsi said, O Messenger of Allah, what is the waiting period of the woman who does not menstruate and the woman who has not menstruated yet? And what is the waiting period of a pregnant woman? And so Allah exalted is He revealed the verse. Let's see, who said, when the waiting period for a divorced and widowed woman was mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah, Ubay ibn Ka'b said, O Messenger of Allah, some women of Medina are saying there are other women who have not been mentioned. He asked, and who are they? He said, those who are too young, such that they have not started menstruating yet, those who are too old, whose menstruation has stopped, and those who are pregnant. And so this verse, and for such of your women as despair of menstruation, was revealed. Now we're going to look at what the Sharia says in the Reliance of the Traveler on page 533. It says, a guardian may not marry his prepubescent daughter to someone for less than the amount typically received as marriage payment by similar brides, nor his prepubescent son to a female who given more than the amount typically received. If he does either of these, the amount stipulated is void and the amount typically received is paid. In both cases, as a necessary condition for the validity of the marriage contract. So it's quite clear from the Sharia here that prepubescent children are allowed to be married off. And like I said, we can, of course, see in the Quran and the commentators with regards to it is permissible to marry, violate, and then divorce a prepubescent child if the waiting period is observed.